Hey, all right, so I'm going to try my best to explain the difference between a clipping mask using Command 7 or a transparency mask. So I'm going to be demonstrating with the two examples here of the circle and the square. So doing a clipping mask, it just requires you to select the items that you want to, and then you can hit Command 7, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to take that top object and it's going to cut it through the bottom shape. And so I like to call the clipping mask like a cookie cutter because it's taking the top, which is like your cookie cutter, and it's cutting it through your dough. And to undo the clipping mask, you can hit Option Command 7 and it will undo it. And for some reason, it just turns the top shape into an outline. And so that's why it's just not, it looks like it's not there unless it's selected, but then you can always turn it back. You can also go up to Object and then down to Clipping Mask and Make. Now, a transparency mask is different, and how it's different is that it uses the hues and the colors to affect how it masks the images below it. So I'm going to select both items, and I'm going to go over to my transparency palette off to the side, and I'm going to click on Make Mask. Now you've noticed that this is like a light green. If I redo the clipping mask over here, you can see this is a darker green. The reason why it did this is because it's using that yellow in contrast on top of the green, and it makes that shade. It like naturally blends them. And so that's why there's like different blend options, and you can play around with them, and sometimes it will give you different results. But say you don't want it to show up as a different color. Maybe you want it to cut straight through. So I'm going to release this clipping mask, and I'm going to turn my circle into 100% black. And if you change your swatch palette from just the little icons and you go to small list view and go all the way up to registration is 100% black. So sometimes if you just have the black selected and you make your mask, like this one worked okay, but sometimes it will, like, they'll still see like a slight shadow of the shape. And that's because you need to have the 100% registration black selected. So if you select both of those and make masks, you can see like they're both gone, like what just happened. And the difference is down here underneath the release button, there's clip and invert mask. And having these selected makes a world of a difference. So if I unselect clip, now you've seen that the black has gone completely through the object on the bottom. This is how I generally use the mask because I want it to completely cut through. If we have the invert mask, it doesn't really do anything, and then if they're both selected, then we get the same result as the clipping mask. I generally leave them both unchecked because that's the result I want when I'm using the clipping or using the transparency mask. So that's the difference between those two. Hopefully that made sense. If you guys have questions, please leave comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. And I will link to another video where I give a practical example of when you would use this tool. All right, bye.